Hey guys, this is Phil and welcome to a video review on S3's final Savage card, the Savage 2000. In the background we've got some gaming footage of Rune running on the Savage 4 with the Metal API. The reason it's not running on the Savage 2000 is it's broken, and we will talk more about that later in the video. Previously on PhilsComputerLab we had a look at the Savage 4, and my conclusion was that for Windows 3D retro gaming you should look elsewhere. However, experiencing the S3 Metal API can be quite interesting, and also the Savage 4 is good in DOS gaming and it is readily available on eBay and fairly cheap. On paper, the Savage 2000 has a lot of things going for it: a quad texture engine, AGP4X, 128-bit memory, S3 texture compression, and an integrated transform and lighting engine, full OpenGL and DirectX 7 compatibility. This all sounds great, so let's have a look what this card can do and how it compares to other cards from the same time period. It launched at the end of 1999, so it's going up against the 3DFX Voodoo 3 3500. Nvidia is represented with the River TNT2 Ultra as well as the new GeForce 256. ATI throws their Rage 128 Pro and Rage Fury Max into the ring, and Matrox is also joining the party with the G400 Max. We are of course also including results of S3's previous top dog, the Savage 4. Let's go straight into some benchmarks in 3D Mark 2000. The Savage 2000 is definitely quicker than the Savage 4, but behind the competition from Nvidia, 3DFX and Matrox. The same goes for 3D Mark 2001, it's faster than the Savage 4, but lagging behind the competition. Draken is a dark 3D game and the Savage 2000 really struggles here. It's only 6 frames faster than the Savage 4. In Expandable it does a little bit better, managing to double the performance compared to the S3 Savage 4, but it still lags behind most of the other cards. In GL Quake, the Savage 2000 is pretty strong, actually managing to outdo the TNT2 Ultra by 1 frames per second. In Quake 2, the Savage 2000 also does very well, being able to beat the G400 Max as well as the TNT2 Ultra. And the same goes for Quake 3, it is faster than the cards from Matrox and Nvidia. In MDK2 we can see another strong showing 52 FPS, that's ahead of the G400 Max and the TNT2 Ultra. Looking at these results, a couple of things stand out. Against cards that have already been on the market and in OpenGL games, the Savage 2000 is actually a solid performer. It is able to beat the TNT2 Ultra in most of the benchmarks. Cards that came out a little bit later, such as the GeForce 256, however, they are in an entirely different league. Direct 3D performance is a bit of a worry. In Expandable, the Savage 2000 can still hang in there, but in 3D Mark and in Draken, we can see that the card or the drivers have some serious performance issues with Direct 3D. A quick rundown on the test system: Pentium 4 2.8, 512MB of RAM, Vortex 2 PCI sound card, 16GB SanDisk Ultra SD card with an ID to SD adapter, a 500W FSP power supply and Windows 98 SE. At idle, the Savage 2000 draws 55 watts, exactly the same as the ATI Rage Fury Max. In games we're seeing a usage of 101 watts in Quake 2 and 105 watts in Expandable. Basically it consumes similar amounts of power when compared to the Voodoo 3 and TNT2 Ultra. The S3 Savage 2000 launched towards the end of 1999. Earlier that year S3 acquired Diamond Multimedia and the Savage 2000 was the first graphics card under the merged company. The main version of the Savage 2000 is the Diamond Viper 2 Z200. I had a look on eBay and couldn't find a single listing, so I asked around on Facebook and we managed to find a US listing of a boxed card. The asking price was $125 and it actually sold shortly after. The card I have is from Innovision 3D. It is clocked the same as the Diamond version with a core clock of 125 MHz and the memory runs at 155 MHz. It does however have double the memory, comes with a whopping 64 MB of video RAM. Interesting are the 3 jumpers on the board itself. They seem to set the AGP mode. close all three and the card is configured to the often more compatible AGP2 standard. Remove them and it uses the faster AGP4 interface on supported motherboards. In the beginning of the video I mentioned that the card supports transformer and lighting. After the card shipped, it was found that the S3TL, the transformer and lighting engine, was faulty and would give you graphical errors and also negatively affect performance. Now I used PowerStrip to force S3TL, but I think the settings are getting ignored because I saw no difference in performance and also no graphical errors. But there's more that's broken with this card. The previous model, the Savage 4, is compatible with the S3 Metal graphics API. You kinda expect games supporting the S3 Metal API to run fine on the Savage 2000, maybe with a higher frame rate or even a higher resolution. However, I ran into all sorts of issues. The game that runs in the background, for example, which is Rune, has real issues. If you select the Metal API, it will actually default back to the software render. There's one exception, however, and that's Unreal Tournament. That game must have been so popular that they actually bothered to update the files. So you just gotta grab some Metal DLL files and copy them into the game folder, and then Unreal Tournament actually runs really well on the Savage 2000. It also looks fairly nice. I've made a recording, so let's take a quick look. Unfortunately, these Metal DLL files don't work with any other games, and the README file actually confirms this. Games supporting the S3 Metal API are mostly games based on the Unreal Engine. The list is fairly small, but a proprietary graphics API is always something special and worth checking out. So it's a real shame that the Savage 2000 doesn't just work with all the other games that support Metal API under the Savage 4. What doesn't help is the fact that all these Unreal Engine based games not only support the S3 Metal API, but have excellent support for 3dfx Glide. So if you care about these games, very likely you will just play them on a 3dfx Voodoo 3, for example. So to summarize, the Savage 2000 is quite competitive in OpenGL games and can beat the TNT 2 Ultra in many games. But we need to consider when the Savage 2000 came out, all the other cards were in the market already and new cards were just around the corner. So as soon as the GeForce 256 or the ATR Radeon came out, the Savage 2000 didn't have a chance. Unfortunately, a lot of things are broken with this card, or specifically the drivers. Direct3D doesn't perform where it should, the transform and lighting engine doesn't work, and compatibility with the S3 Metal API is also not working. Now for those who want to experience the S3 Metal API and check out the S3 texture compression in supported games and a couple of custom levels for Unreal, for example, I just recommend go with the Savage 4. Those cards are quite cheap, they are supported by the games out of the box and readily available on eBay. So this is one tough card to recommend. The performance is not where it should be and we're looking at a lot of compatibility issues. The only reason I can think of getting this card is if you're a collector, because it is a rare and sought after card, or of course if you find a bargain and get it for a really low price. So there you have it, the Savage 2000, a broken card, and it broke S3. They basically got sold off to VIA, which used the technology and used them in integrated graphics such as the Unichrome series. But the story is not over. HTC got hold of all the S3 stuff, so it will be interesting to see these chips in the mobile space. And that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit the like or the dislike button, leave me a comment down below and share the video. And I will see you soon with another video.